we need to make it the norm. You know, you go to a doctor even when you're feeling fine. It's because it's just the norm. Somehow we have to make it known where, you know, your mental health is just as important as your physical health, if not more important, because the body cannot go anywhere without the mind.
I think we'd have to start by telling people it's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to seek help. It doesn't make you inferior. It doesn't make you less than. And get people away from being concerned about stigma.
I think that there is a way to change the narrative. I mean, if you make therapy not seem like something that only sick people need. Like if you make it a thing. Like for one, I feel like if you have a lot of therapists, a lot of people just come and talk to you on a regular basis. Honestly, I believe that if you talk to these kids when they're younger, I feel like that makes a great difference, because you have these kids who are suffering and then they grow up to suffer and that's all they know. And then you have crime, you have all these other issues. But if you have doctors who come into schools and who just come into homes and talk to you like regular people and just try to help you understand your situation and try to make you feel better, I feel like that makes all the difference. I feel like if you don't make it such a situation to where you need help, you're sick, you're suffering, let's send somebody in here to help you. But if you make it more of a conversation and you make it more of a community-based type of situation, I feel like there will be a lot more people
Definitely
involved.
through advocacy. Advocacy is a huge piece, whether it's advocacy on a macro level, going to the state. I know that recently there's been a lot of rallies in regards to budget and finances. That's a huge issue that's going on right now in Connecticut, but advocacy up at the state level, speaking to your state legislators and things like that to get additional funding to fund, like, for instance, programs within the schools. I mean, I think that's another educational area, that kind of starting the education in regards to what is mental health early on within like elementary or kindergarten, things like that, kind of building psychoeducation in a sense, so at a young age children kind of be exposed to that. And then if God forbid they do have some type of trauma, which is another whole discussion, but if they do have some type of trauma, that can be addressed early on, because unaddressed trauma can ideally manifest into some type of serious mental health issue once somebody goes to adulthood. So early intervention, pretty much.
Education, really. I mean, it's education and it takes experience as well. I mean, because sometimes no matter how much you educate a person, somebody's not doing it until they actually are forced to do it. But I think we need more education around these services, because, I mean, I worked in part-time in school as well, and it's just the kids, what they say about kids that got to go to these groups and different things. I mean, it's still into that, like, oh, this kid's retarded because this kid's going, they don't know what he's going for, but they know he's going to see somebody. We have to break the stigma and educate children more and let them know that, like, seeking services isn't something's not wrong with you. I mean, it's just something that
in
you
the social work community that are, licensed therapists, MFTs, I think need to start being more hands-on. And when I say hands-on, in your local churches, in the community, trying to break the stigma. I don't care if it's a situation of starting support groups, divorce support groups, blended family support groups. When people start seeing it in like a larger group setting, they may be more open to doing that in an individual setting. When you're having like women's outings at churches or men's outings, start bringing individuals that they trust to be able to talk about their careers. Because a lot of times you don't know that your church member, your family member is in that field, you don't really understand it. And just open the door to have a discussion to see what is the upside to it, or even those of us that have been to therapy, being honest, because like you said, you get the stigma and the label of, oh, you're crazy for going to the therapist, but those people who appear to be peaceful and whole and got everything going on, more than likely have been to therapy before. So instead of hiding it and making it seem as if it's a secret, start sharing it. Start sharing your experiences, how it helped you, how it didn't, how it did, how you got through. And just having that open dialogue is of education. That way,
some lingo or some words have to be changed. Instead of you need to see a psychiatrist, maybe you just need to talk to someone. The small steps like that. Sometimes it's not like what you say, but how do you say it, or the words that you